Hey y'all, I just realized my head is cut off. Besides backing up, it's not really much I can do. Let me back up just a little bit. All right, that's my adjustment for today. Uh I'm flying solo and this is not getting edited. It's just gonna go straight from you guys out to the world. Um Welcome back to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka, and today I am doing a long awaited catch up on Married to Medicine, season 12. I'm going to cover, I think, the last four episodes, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. So, the last episode that I oh gosh, the last episode that I did was I think right before Contessa's party. I believe that was it. The one right before Contessa's party. So, starting back at that, Contessa had a 49th birthday party. Thought it was a little awkward to have a 49th birthday party, but it is what it is. Um, she seemed to have been enjoying that. She spent $40,000 on this party. I thought that that was a bit extreme. I did see some behind the scenes that she had like A Ball and MJG perform, so I'm sure they took up quite a bit of the budget. Um, it is what it is. Everybody came to the party in costume except for Dr. Damon. Scott got on the mic and was like, "My mom compared Contessa to Rose from Titanic." And Heavenly tells Mimi and Angel that women in the 70s could keep a man because they busted it open and they cooked. Ah, whatever. On to episode 3. Graduation dinner. Um, Simone's sons, both of them, both Michael and Miles, have graduated from college. Um, Simone and Cecil go over to their house. This was going like super viral, where Simone and Cecil were having a conversation with the kids. Michael tells her that he wants a new Jeep. She was like, "Well, let's crunch some numbers." And in the process of them crunching numbers, um, what is Michael is like, "If I don't like what you say, then the dog might be eating your food." That was like the thing that aggravated people the most. Um, Simone pulls out her iPad and pulls up last year's Chase bill, and Michael spent $60,000. And he was like, "What?" I understand when you're not spending your own money, how easy it is to just frivolously spend. And that's what they've been doing their whole lives. I don't think her kids have ever had jobs or anything like that. Now he's saying he wants to go to law school, and he's like, "Hey, need you to foot the bill, homie." And she was like, "Y'all will not work me into an early grave so y'all can keep spending my money." Um, Michael was like, "Ain't that what rich white kids do?" She was like, "You are not rich white kids." Um, Anywho, I think that's pretty much all that came from that episode. Was we dealt a lot with Simone, or I should say this is kind of where Simone's story ends. Um, she does vent to her sister, and Cecil vents to his brother. And his brother was like, "You messing up. You need to check the temperature of your marriage." As a person that's recently been divorced, he's like, "Hey, don't end up where I am." Simone says that she's just exhausted, and that's pretty much what we had for Simone. Toya in episode 4 had a house party. She called it a skip work house party. It's half naked men everywhere. And then she and Heavenly had gotten into it over text message about the fake Balenciaga bag. Heavenly showed up and was like, I just want my bag back. The text messages some kind of way escalated to who left this fake bag to, that's why your husband got a small penis. I don't understand how we got there, but that's right on brand for Heavenly. Um I feel like sometimes she lacks awareness in situations, and she just lashes out with whatever she can come up with. Eugene having a small penis is what she came up with. Um so at the party, what ended up happening was Toya wanted the women versus the men to play a game. Eugene and the guys were like, no. So Eugene made like fake doctor's notes for the men. And all the guys got a joke, like laughed it off. Some of the women even laughed it off. But Toya was like, you be a leader in your house. You lead us. And then they get into it with each other in front of everybody. Um, Heavenly joked about them getting a divorce and splitting up the houses. I'm sorry, y'all. It's cold in here. Toya flipped out, comes out and was like, Mimi, you need to get out. Heavenly, you need to get out. And that was pretty much where they landed. Toya tells Contessa and Anila that she want Mimi and Heavenly out of her house. And she was like, and Brandy was in with them too. So after that fight, the beginning of the next episode, Eugene and Toya have a come to Jesus. He apologizes and then he tells her that her friends emasculate him, specifically Heavenly. But they also ran a clip of Contessa calling him the definition of a big AB. And he said that you have your own part in doing that too. And we can agree because Toya be talking raw to Eugene. Um, so they've decided that they need to feed into their love account. Um, so I think this might have been before that blow up. Um, no, no, no. It was after that blow up with Toya and Eugene. Simone hosts a bag event where they are creating a bag. I think that would actually be pretty cool to do. Um Make something custom. I don't sew or do anything like that. I really want to learn. My mother-in-law gifted me a sewing machine years ago. The only thing I ever made was a bow tie. And while I followed the pattern and did it correctly, I used the wrong material. It was too thick. So nothing ever came of it. Um, Now that I'm a little bit wiser in choosing fabrics, I think that that would be something fun to do. Maybe that'll be one of my things this year is to break out my sewing machine and actually like figure out what I'm doing wrong when it comes to sewing so that I can start actually sewing things. Um so we start off with yet another Toya Heavenly beef. Apparently, Heavenly sent out a group text telling everyone Happy Father's Day. And then she told Toya to wish Eugene a Happy Father's Day on camera so that it's public. Um, Angel was like, Heavenly, you just don't know when you be hurting people's feelings, and that's not okay. Um, okay, thank you. That was pretty much the ending of those episodes that I missed, and then we can get on. That was a quick recap, less than 10 minutes, and I went through all those episodes. It wasn't a I mean, it was a lot that happened, don't get me wrong. Oh, we also had found out that Quad and King went to Ghana, so they missed the purse event. And that's kind of how we start this episode that came on this week, which was Sunday. Um Episode 6. That one's called All in the Family. So Quad had Angel and Dr. Heavenly over, and she was telling them that she's back from her third egg retrieval. And Heavenly was like, "Girl, you sure you're not pregnant? Because you're getting thick." Oh, Contessa came by too. So they go through, they talk about the egg retrieval. She's very optimistic at this point in the episode because they retrieve 5 eggs. 4 of them seem viable enough to make an embryo out of. So she was just waiting for the fertilization to happen to see what happens next. Um, she asked what happens while she was gone. They bring up Toya and Heavenly getting into it while they make the purses. And then somehow the conversation shifted to Simone saying that she looked up everything. Oh, Contessa said that uh the conversation why Toya and Heavenly got into it was because of Damon Jr. going to jail, right? So Contessa is like, maybe Simone leaked it. I'm just kidding. And then Heavenly said it could be because she said she was willing to look up to see who owned the Rolls Royce that Quad was driving, so she would get the VIN number and she would look it up. Um, Quad was like, what does it matter who owns the vehicle? Like, it's mine. I'm driving it. Um, so apparently from the previews, that's going to be a point of contention again between Quad and Simone. And we go to Mimi and Steve. So Mimi's coming home with Stevie and he's crying. Stevie's upset that Savannah isn't home with them because she's with her grandmother, who is Mimi's mom. Um, Basically, Mimi explains that Stevie has been weighing on everybody's nervous system for the last week or however long. And sometimes she just gives Savannah, that's her daughter, the opportunity to go to her mom's house so she can live life as a 7-year old and not have to worry about her or her, is it her big brother or little brother? I don't know. I can't remember the age difference between the kids, but she doesn't have to worry about her brother so much. Um, I can understand that because there are times when I have to take my kids away from each other because Quad sometimes can be so overstimulated and Lily just needs a break from like overstimulated, or not, I shouldn't say overstimulated, overtired because he doesn't like to nap. So he'll be overtired and he'll just be like doing stuff and getting on Lily's nerves. And sometimes I have to like say, okay, let's break away. Tommy, can you take Quad and go lay him down? Like lay with him so that he can calm himself down and fall asleep. And Lily and I'll go do something. And sometimes Lily just be getting on her bossy rampages. And I have to take Quad away because she's yelled at him one too many times about something that doesn't even make sense to be yelling about. Um, I noticed in that moment that Steve definitely responds like a dad, where Mimi responds like a mom, at least as far as how my household operates. Stevie was like knocking over a lamp, and Mimi's like, get it. Like she's rushing, and Steve is like, sit down. I got it. And he picks it up and he makes a joke out of it with Stevie. And I'm like, yeah, moms don't typically respond making a joke out of it because I don't want you to do this again thinking that it's fun. And dads are like, oh, it's not a big deal. Nah, it's a big deal if you break the thing. I don't want to say it's a huge deal, but let's not encourage the behavior of breaking things, right? So the next thing that we see is Heavenly going out to lunch with a man. We find out that this man is her brother. He's 5 years older than her, and he was apparently born during the marriage of her parents, early in the marriage because Heavenly did not come until 8 years into the marriage, and he is 5 years older than her. So, um, it does not look like they've had a DNA test done. It's just they've done the, "Ooh, you look like me. Ooh, you look like me. Your grandma? Oh, okay, that's my grandma too." So, um, not knowing anything about Heavenly's dad, it's not surprising that people have siblings that they don't know about. Um, Myself, I have a brother that's 16 days older than me. Obviously not my mama's child. But I mean, we take it in stride at this point, and we're siblings. He's my brother. I love him. He loves me. Like, and with us, obviously we didn't find out about each other and as late in life as Heavenly and her brother did. I believe his name was Travis. Um, our mothers get along with each other and with us. So there's nothing that my brother couldn't ask my mom for, and same with me and his mom. So um I hate that they weren't able to build a relationship until their 50s, but it would have been nice for them to for him to have, and for Heavenly for that matter, to have some type of reconciliation with their dad in regards to um how everything is going with the like how everything transpired. I'm sure Heavenly would have wanted to protect her mother's feelings as the mother of children. So I don't know. I don't know how that would have worked out, but it would have been very interesting to see. At the end of this, she invites him to a family reunion, and that is going to be our all cast event of this episode. So, family reunion, they're having a mac and cheese cook off. That's always interesting to have the cook offs because everybody's like, I make the best so and so and such and such. So, um, at the end, we saw who won, but we don't know who really won. So it's all very interesting. Um, so when they started off talking about the mac and cheese, Heavenly calls Dr. Jackie, and Jackie's like, you need to cook the noodles and add some cheese and then cook it for about 40 minutes. Heavenly is like, this box say 4 to 6 minutes. You gonna have me burning up some stuff. I'm like, so Heavenly wants to follow the box recipe, which is not going to be good macaroni and cheese. Um, everybody else is doing it from love or memory or a recipe that's been passed down, with the exception of Toya's son. Toya's son is like in the kitchen chefing it up. Um, Cecil is making the mac and cheese for their home because Simone apparently makes Kraft mac and cheese. That's as good as it's gonna get from her. Um, in the process of them talking about this mac and cheese and him shredding his cheeses and getting everything together, or at least pretending to, because I don't remember seeing him actually cook anything in that scene. Simone was like, nobody gives a F about me. And Cecil was like, what are you talking about? I help you. I try to lighten your load as much as I can. And she's like, okay, well, you don't help me with the boys. Those are not boys. Those are adult males. You need to figure out why y'all are having these issues with these children, because most of it seems like financial. And I ain't saying you have to cut them off cold turkey, but you're gonna definitely have to do something because they are bleeding you dry. Um, as far as finances go, one of them spending $60,000 a year, um, to like on a credit card, on top of the other things that you pay for, like their home that they live in. That's absurd. That's one of those things where you have to look back and figure out, what am I doing to contribute to this and how can I fix it, because I am contributing to this in the worst way possible. Um they agree that they got to figure it out, and then we go to the actual event. So Heavenly's there setting up. We find out contestants not coming. Heavenly is like, good. Then maybe won't nobody be taking no to go place out of here. I love that fucking Tessa. She like, hey, it's an event, it's some food. Y'all gonna eat because I'm not cooking when we get home. Like, that's real. So Quad comes in, like each person comes in with their family members. It seems like they held them so that everybody would be walking in together because you know that everybody didn't ride together. So Quad shows up with a gang of people, and she shows up in a Ferrari this time. And they laugh about it, saying, "Oh, Quad didn't show up in that Rolls Royce because she knew Simone was gonna run that VIN number." Um, Quad is like, whatever. She and Jackie end up having a little kiki about the embryos. She lets her know that there were 5 eggs in this retrieval. One did make it, and the other four are getting fertilized. So she's being optimistic. Jackie is like, all you need is one to get a baby. And I love that Jackie can show that type of optimism for Quad, even though we find out at the end of the episode that there's not really much optimism to be had. But we then go into the mac and cheese cook off, and everybody has to vote for who they think has the best mac and cheese. Toya is there manning the ballot box. I was like, okay, so Toya is just telling everybody vote yellow. If you don't care who you vote, and vote yellow because that's her son. Her son ends up winning. I think the next closest person to him had like 10 votes. I mean, no, sorry, not 10. I think he had 17, and then the next closest person had 15. So it was 2 votes off. Um, I didn't get to this, but when Angel showed up with her family, Angel brought a man named Bernard, and everybody's like, "Who is Bernard?" And he's like, "We're dating." And Toya like, "Dating? You didn't ask me to hook you up with a man, a doctor specifically." And Bernard was like, "We've been on and off for like 10 years." And Toya was like, "Oh, are you starting to act right because I told her that I was gonna be introducing her to somebody new?" And he was like, "What? That's how you doing it, Angel?" Angel was like, "This could be the man to pay my mortgage and keep me and my kids off the street." It's interesting that she kept the one on the side and brought him on the show, even though she's still actively looking for somebody to date. So that's interesting. That's something that I would not have put on TV, but maybe she wasn't thinking it through that way. She was hoping that some scenes got deleted. But that's kind of how we wrapped up the cookout. Heavenly thanked everybody for coming. Says she definitely wants to do this again next year, make it an annual event. I thought that it would be that would be fun to do. Specifically as a person who I come from a big family, but my family doesn't get together the way that we used to. A lot of it is because we no longer live in the same city/state. Um, I do get to see people every other year with my husband's family because they do typically get together and do a big reunion. And I have been on the reunion committee for the last 3 reunions in some capacity. Um, but we've started something smaller here in Georgia with our families because everybody has a cousin that live in Atlanta. Tommy and I happen to have more than one cousin that lives in Atlanta. So we found a way to merge our two sides of the family. And um we're just kind of working towards now doing it annually, get together, making sure that the kids get to grow up together because um with the exception of I think me and one of my cousins and Tommy and one of his cousins, we didn't grow up together with the cousins that live here. So it's been nice to do and get to watch the kids grow up together and be excited to see cousins because they are the out of town cousins. So we end this episode with Quad and King. Um, she gets a message about her latest egg retrieval with an update. They read through it. They said that of the 4 eggs that she got, only one of them has grown. And they're looking at this as unsuccessful because after X amount of days, which I think is 6 days, she said, it should be in a different stage. I'm not really familiar with embryo retrieval. I mean egg retrieval to get an embryo. I know that everything has a life cycle, but I don't really know about that part of the life cycle. So this has been interesting to hear. Gives me something to like look into because it's something that I don't know. But her embryo should have been further along in fertilization than it is. And so they're considering this retrieval to be unsuccessful because the egg did not get fertilized and grow as it should to become a successful embryo that can then be implanted into her or a surrogate to become a baby. Quad starts crying. King did not say what a woman who wants to have a baby wants to hear in that moment, which was, this is expensive, this is taxing, we weren't very realistic, we got to do something different. Um he was like, I was cool without having more kids, but because you wanted to have a baby, we're having a baby. We've been going through this process. And I'm like, that's not what a person wants to hear at all. Um, a baby is not something that you just be cool with having another one of. Like, you need to be sure that you want to have another baby. And I think that that's going to be like the beginning of the end for Quad with him. I've noticed on social media she's not posting him as much. He was there at the beginning of this season through like the rap parties and stuff. So I don't know, maybe she's not posting him again. Maybe they are going through IVF again, like going through the egg retrieval process again. I honestly don't know. But that concludes this episode. I got it up the week that it was due, even though I had all that other stuff going behind it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am like 2 to 3 episodes behind on Real Housewives of Potomac. They're just not giving it. So I'm probably gonna do this same thing again with them, but I'll try my best to keep up and be very consistent with Married to Medicine because at least I have been consistently watching Married to Medicine, just not consistently doing the reviews. Um, if you could join our membership, we get together each and every Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time and just hang out, talk about the week, talk about hot topics that we don't make it to Love Brew with. And then also join us for Love Brew on Saturday mornings at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard or Eastern time. Um, where we talk about the hot topics of the week, what's going on, what's interesting to us, and somewhere in between those two, we try, not in between those two, somewhere after Love Brew, we try to sprinkle in our Ready to Love review. We've caught up with that as well. So I'll see you guys on Thursday and or Saturday. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell, and comment down below what you guys think of King's reaction to Quad's IVF journey and where she is in the egg retrieval process. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.